So Paulie Malignaggi just won his first fight in what feels like forever. In bare-knuckle boxing, it was a split decision win. Now, I don't watch bare-knuckle boxing. I'm not gonna watch this fight between Paulie Malignaggi. I'm not. I can't even tell you what even happened in that fight, but I can tell you how Paulie looked after that fight. And I hope for him the juice was worth the squeeze, right? Because his face looks butchered after that, which is the exact reason why I would never do bare knuckle boxing, and also the same reason why I don't really watch bare knuckle boxing is because it is so brutal and there is nothing to protect those hands. Yeah, your hands are wrapped. So what? That's nothing. When you know how big boxing gloves are, and when you feel, because I'm a heavyweight, so when you feel like a 16-ounce glove on your hand, like it makes a difference, right? And having none of that, having none of that extra padding and just literally bare knuckle, it's crazy, bro. The damage that does to your face is just insane. Even if they'll try and tell you like the brain damage is just the same as boxing, the cuts alone, the scar tissue that builds up on your face, it's just awful, bro. It's just awful. And I hope these guys are paying Paulie really well. I understand the economics of fighting. I don't really see how they could be paying him really well because Paulie's not a huge name like that. In 2025, Paulie Malignaggi in bare-knuckle boxing is not a huge draw. For him to be making the sort of paydays that, in my opinion, it would need to be making for this fight to be worthwhile for him. Like, Paulie would need to be seeing... Honestly, the amount of damage your face takes, you need to be seeing at least 7 figures to make this worthwhile for you. But I know the reason why Paulie does do it, knowing the fight game, knowing the behind the scenes of the fight game. And also, I believe these bare-knuckle fights, they're only 3 or 4 rounds, aren't they? Because, God forbid a 10, 12 round bare-knuckle fight. I don't even want to know. I don't even want to imagine that as a thing, right? So these fights are only 3 to 4 rounds, making it, naturally it's a lot less damage you would think because you're getting hit in the head a lot less. But obviously, the scar tissue and cuts that build up, it's not worth it. But those fights are only 3 to 4 rounds. Now, if Paulie wants to box 3 to 4 rounds in pro boxing, he'd be paying his opponents, which is probably the reason why Paulie does bare knuckle, because he doesn't have to pay his opponents and he's actually getting a purse from it. Now, that purse won't be a lot of money because Paulie's not selling a lot of tickets. But I'd imagine Paulie's probably on 20, 30 grand, 40 grand a fight, 50 grand a fight maybe, compared to if he was doing it in pro boxing, he would be paying his opponents probably 2, 3, 4, 5 grand. So it's the difference between making 30 to 50 grand or spending 5 grand. I know which one I would rather do, but not at that cost. Like the damage you take, it's not worth it for me. But that's by the by. Paulie Malignaggi won that fight, split decision, so maybe it was close. I don't know what's next for him. I doubt he goes back to pro boxing because of all the reasons I've just said. So maybe Paulie's going to have a second career as a bare-knuckle boxer. He's a good commentator. He's a good pundit. I really like him as a pundit. And there's stuff that I agree with him on, stuff that I don't agree with him on. I'd love to have him on the channel someday. Maybe after all the things I've just said about him, maybe not. Maybe he will never come on the channel, but I would love to have him on. And yeah, we'll see what's next from Paulie Malignaggi. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think he'll make a return to pro boxing potentially? Or do you think he's going to sort of stick with bare knuckle and maybe he can get one of those big bare knuckle fights? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Another episode of the Seth Solo Side Quest in the bag, and I'm out. Peace.